Welcome everyone, welcome to WildSafari Live here in the magnificent Djuma and Arathusa Game Reserves in the world famous Sabi Sands Private Nature Reserve in South Africa. My name's Hayden Turner. What a pleasure it is to be back here. I'm so excited. I can't tell you how incredible it feels to be sitting in this vehicle on this magnificent location. Andrew's with me this morning. Andrew and my first drive, so we're getting to know each other, how each other works. We've already got common friends in Africa, which is fantastic. Really, really beautiful. One of the great things about this morning is that sun is just incredible. I'm just enjoying it so much, and I'm sort of sitting here in a little location that you might find a little bit strange while we're just static here and not on an animal. You won't believe what happened this morning. I drove out and 15 minutes we were just driving around, and sure enough, leopard just came through on the other side of this vehicle, this termite mound. We just want to see who it was. I'm not sure if it was Karula or who it was, but basically she was hunting, and Nyala went across the road. She leapt across the road as well. It was a female. We're just sitting here to just see what happens, but I can't contain my excitement at the moment. For you, those of you who haven't met before, my name's Hayden, as I said. I was here in November with Pieter. Peter's actually out there getting Jigger all ready to get on the road at the moment. Jigger arrived last night, which is the other vehicle, other fantastic vehicle that we've got, and he's just tinkering with all the tech people at the moment. We've got loads of people down here at the moment as well. Nikki and Tara are directing this morning, so it's great to be working with them for the first time. You guys are going to have to help me this morning. I've got to get to know the roads again. It's back in the saddle for the first time, and so many of you have sent fantastic tweets and emails and Facebook messages, and thank you so much for all the support. Last night we had two messages, a couple of tweets, a couple of emails that leopard was found seen down on the Gary Dam wall as well. So thank you very, very much for that. I've got so much to tell you, I've got so much to talk about. I want to get on the way, of course. I want to drive around. The morning is fantastic. It's about 16 degrees Celsius, which is about 60 Fahrenheit, and it says there's about 91% humidity in there. Now, there's a really incredible haze or gorgeous, gorgeous mist coming through here at the moment this morning, and the smell, there's this gorgeous, just sort of sweet smell of the grass when it gets this moist as well. Oh, I tell you what, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, folks. I kept on waking up every sort of hour thinking that it's time to go, it's time to go. Some of you may have seen I was putting a post on Facebook at about 12 o'clock last night, and then I heard lions roar, and I just thought, wow, being back in Africa is the most spectacular thing in the world for me. Now, this thing here, some of you may know it, some of you may not, and if you're here for the first time on WildSafari Live, welcome. This is an incredible journey that you're going to be on with us. You are back on the back of this vehicle with us like you would be on any drive in Africa, and it's just fantastic to have you on board. All of you regular viewers, hi, and great to be back, as I said. This is my lucky porcupine quill. I found this when I first started here. It was probably the day after I saw Q, my first leopard here, and I've stuck with it ever since, and I just carried it around as a bit of fun. But I tell you what, I pulled it out this morning, and sure enough, Andrew and I were sort of just driving down that road on the other side of this block here, and sure enough, leopard straight across the road. And I'll tell you what, my heart just skipped a beat. It's a beautiful thing, and there's so much to talk about. I'm going to just have a bumble around this morning, so I have to ask for your forgiveness on that. I've just got to get to know the roads a little bit again, talk to some of the guides as well. We might bump into some guides and say hi as well. All the fantastic guides here in Sabi Sands are so helpful to our project here on WildSafari Live. They help us, they talk to us, they give us information about sightings. Now, the other person who's integral in an integral part of my morning this morning is Brent. Now, how good is Brent? Absolutely incredible guy, and I met Brent for the first time last night properly. He's out looking for animals for me this morning as well, and you know how he likes his big cats, so that's going to be a pretty nice thing to be working with him. And Stefan, wow, that walk yesterday with Scotty and all the guys, Mark, everyone, you know, just been so good, and that's the sort of thing. Sharing the information is the most important thing. This is a project that we all work on as a team, and last night when we were sitting around the fire, and to see everyone working and talking together and laughing and sharing stories is what Wild Safari Live is all about. And it's also about you. You are part of this team. You are the ones that help us. I'm going to need your help with IDing leopard, that's for sure. I can find them, but I need your help IDing them. There's a lot of line on the property as well at the moment. And I think from what the intelligence the guys gave me this morning, there's wild dog, there's hyena action. It's all going along nicely. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. It's just fantastic to be here. I think we should get on our way, Andrew. Do you think, mate?
Yes.
And let's just have a little bit of a rumble around down here and see if we can pick up any tracks of this leopard crossing this road, because she was in this block. And if you see anything, please let us know. Andrew's my eyes in the sky as well, and the cameraman is a really, really important person for everything. The camera person actually is taking the shots, but also is another set of eyes, and Andrew and I were going to work as a team and try and find this leopard for you this morning. Wow, it's good to be back. Really great to be back. And also, of course, there's so many things to tell you. Questions at questions at wildearth.tv, and you can tweet us at #SafariLive. So it's questions at wildearth.tv and tweet at #SafariLive. And please send anything you want, and we'll do our best, that's for sure. Wow, it's good to be back. It's great to be back. Yes. I might be acting like a little bit of a little boy at the moment, but that's how I feel when I get in this part of the world and I get in this vehicle and I start to just drive down these roads, and there's something very special about the smell, the temperature, that mist, and knowing what's out there, everyone. Knowing what's out there is the most important thing, and knowing that there's no script to this. There's no script. We are part of this scene. Whatever happens, happens. You see it. You see everything that we see. And that's a beautiful thing. So I might ramble a little bit this morning. I just want to see if that was a track going across the road there. Keep your eyes out too for me, Andrew, because you've got a little bit more elevation there, mate. She was definitely in this area here, and she was hunting, and I didn't want to go crashing in, that's for sure. It was really important that we just watched her and respected her hunt. It was a nyala. I actually didn't see the nyala as much as I saw her, and I just was like, this is incredible. This is the best thing in the world. I remember back in November when I first saw Q, and I was a little bit nervous as I was driving around to get lost and didn't really know where I was going. And sure enough, VM was on camera with me that morning, and we went around the block a couple of times, and sure enough, there was Q. Oh, there was, well guys, I can't believe this. There's a male line. Yeah. I don't know. I've got to get to know these lines as well, everyone. Beautiful boy. Look at this. She's just going to walk out here. He's going to walk across the road here. I'm just going to stop so Andrew can get a static shot of him. But look at that. He's just walking along the edge of the dam wall here. Ah, welcome back to Juma. Ah, yes. This is what it's about, folks. This is what Wild Safari Live's about. I'm just going to pop down on this little dam wall here and just sit behind him, obviously respecting our distance always. Looks like he's by himself at the moment, but he may be heading down to others. I'm not really sure. Let me just go and see what we can see here. Got a beautiful saddlebill stalk over on the dam here, but at the moment I'm just going to sit with this line. I know Oh, there's so much to look at. Look at him. Look at the light on him. Andrew, I'm just going to pull up here, mate, just to get a nice long shot on that for you. And just button off so we don't... Look at that. Just have a little zoom in there, mate. He's just going to walk along the edge of that. Stopping, listening. What a beautiful shot, eh? Gorgeous male line there, just in the mist of African morning. Let's just follow him up. Once I get up a little bit closer, I'll just have to give some of the guides just a little bit of a heads up. Just gonna see where he goes. That's a beautiful shot. Look at that. Look at that. Got a bit of sun coming. We're driving straight into the sun, folks, so please excuse us at the moment for not being able to get... he's a bit backlit, so I'll get up a bit closer and see what he does. Oh, look at that. Beautiful silhouette there. Get side on for you, Andrew, so you can just get a little bit of better shot of him there. He's just walking through, stopping, listening. Just going to drive up a little bit further, folks. We might just follow him up a little bit. It gets a little bit thick through there, so I don't want to disturb him too much, but we do want to keep an eyeball on him if we can. Just see what this country looks like through here. It's a little bit open. The only thing is, folks, we're driving straight into the sun, so it's a little bit tricky for you to see, so bear with me for a second. We'll just try and get a little bit further up. He's walking due east, and if it gets too thick, I'll have to back off a little bit, of course, but we'll just follow him and see where he's up to, what he's up to. A bit of a mission, that's for sure. I can just get up here, Andrew, just to get a bit more of a look at him. It does get a little bit thick through here, folks, so it's a bit tricky, isn't it, Andrew, to see there. So he is moving into some thicker country. What I might do is I might just go around. He looks like he's really on a bit of a mission there. And there are other lines around at the moment, so I'm just going to listen to the radio and try and see if I can go right around the other side and see if we can get him coming onto us. You can see these lines, and as you all know, these lions and leopard particularly are completely comfortable with our presence, and sometimes you'll hear the scratching of branches and some of the foliage, some of the vegetation along the edge of the vehicle. I promise you it sounds a lot worse than it is. It's just these microphones actually pick up a lot of... Obviously the great thing is we want them to pick up the sound, but the scratching down the sides of the vehicle sounds a lot worse than it is, so please don't worry, we respect the vegetation. And a lot of it just bounces back up. Wow. This is good, mate. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. It's good to be back. I think that's one of the really important things, folks, is that, and you all know that, we we'll follow an animal to the point where, you know, we don't want to ever disturb its behaviour. If it's hunting, we're very, very respectful of that. And if it's on a mission like that, he's not going to stop. He's not going to slow down. I'm just going to go around here and just drive along a little bit, nice and slowly. Have a little bit of more of a talk to you, and just recap on a few things that have been really fantastic for me. Just in this area here was also another time where I saw Kanuma in this tree down here with an impala many months ago. So many of these trees, particularly the jackalberries, have got special memories, because you do associate them with seeing a leopard kill up that tree or something spectacular happening around, and it's quite beautiful just to bring those memories back. So wow, what a team that WildEarth is crafting, hey? Stefan, Brent, Scotty and Mark, just amazing. And Pieter and I are just so happy to be back, and the guys have just been amazing. Just really fantastic to have everyone, as I said, around that fire last night and talking together. Now, as you know, we are broadcasting live. You may get a little dropout now and again when we go down into a little dry riverbed or a drainage line, we call them, where all the water in the rains will fall down. The geography is that goes down the hill into an area where the water ends up following a path, and we call that a drainage line. I might refer to it as a little dry riverbed now and again. But you may get a little dropout, so I know you all understand. Broadcasting from a Land Rover, from an aerial to a repeater station to a satellite to London and then to the States, you know, it's a pretty big bit of technology going on here, and it feels fantastic to be part of, that's for sure. So I'm just driving along quite slowly at the moment, just getting to know my roads again. But boy, have I been watching WildSafari live as well from London. So in London, for those of you that I haven't met before, I manage a private nature reserve there for English children to come and get to know their countryside and learn that to show them that outdoor learning is a very big part of life. And what WildSafari Live does is no different to what happens in any part of the world, and can be just the most fantastic experience for people to be able to watch and experience this from anywhere in the world. Is, to me, probably one of the most brilliant things I've ever done. I come from a long and battled history of making documentaries for National Geographic over the past sort of 20 years, and you know, when I first set off in 1997, armed with a camera and just a camera. I'm just turning my comms up here, guys. I'm just not sure if I've turned them down, just to hear the radios from the guides. It's a really incredible journey that I've had, and I've been very fortunate to do it, and to be back here doing this in Africa is just something that I never ever dreamt of. So what used to happen was I'd go off and make a documentary somewhere in the world. A lot of the time it was in Africa, and I would go back and help either edit it and then do the voiceover, and then we'd launch it, and it was a fantastic process and very exciting, but it was a long distance away from the actual job that you did in country. This is live. This was like being reborn for me, and getting into a vehicle and knowing that there was no script and the bush was writing the script in front of your very eyes has been one of the most uplifting experiences I've ever had, and you feel like you'll never turn back. So an incredible experience, folks. I'll probably chop and change around this morning. I'll probably talk about loads of different things, I'll probably keep adjusting my radio and whatnot, because I'm just getting to know all the quirks with the vehicles as well. They've got all their own little personalities, and I used to drive this vehicle around in November last year, and little things change on it, little bumps and crackles, but boy, have they got character. Now I reckon this boy is heading through this area here. We might just bumble along and head up this dirt road here onto this, what we call a cut line, which is the border of the property. So remember, if you've got any questions, you can tweet them to #SafariLive, or you can email us at questions@wildearth.tv, and I'll be more than happy to have a crack at answering them. And of course, you know, if I don't know the answer, I'll let you know that, and we'll look it up, or I'll try and find out in a book or something like that. Not everyone knows everything, and that's what's great about sharing with all the knowledge of the guides that you work with, and all the incredible guides on Sabi Sands that live, breathe, drink, and sleep this place. And I'm just very, very fortunate to be here with them. So after 1997, I went off to Africa and made these things called video postcards, which looking back on them, thank goodness the editors had a little bit of magic in their fingers and created a story. But it was a great experience. I spent about 2 years traveling around Africa with a camera by myself, making these 5-minute stories. And now here I am sitting back in this great southern land. Obviously my accent's not from here. I used to be a zookeeper with African mammals for about 10 years in Australia in a beautiful zoo, and that really paved the way for my future. And my future is just about being here, that's for sure. It's a beautiful morning, absolutely beautiful. We're going to take a left here, folks. Wow, great first question. Laura in Alabama, how are you? Great to have you on board, Laura, and really fantastic to be here on Safari Live and answering questions. And my first question from my time back in the saddle. Laura, what is my first animal, or the animal that I'm looking forward to seeing most? I have to be completely honest, it's Q, the male leopard. He, for me, is the first leopard I saw here, and he's a very, very special leopard. I had an encounter with him that I'll never forget. I found him, and then he sort of slipped into the vegetation, and I was a bit nervous. I didn't want to scare him. I didn't want to follow him too much, and then he did go down into a drainage line that I couldn't get down into anyway. And then I drove around again, and I came back up this road, and he was walking down the road towards me and walked right past my vehicle and gave me this look that was just like, they're the James Bond of cats. They really are. He was just so confident, and you know, he's young, much younger than the other big males here, but he's just got something about him. I just love that cat so much. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him. And Brent, I know, is scratching around trying to find him. And if anyone's going to find him this morning on vehicle, Brent's probably going to do it for me. So Q is really a big cat that I love to see. And I really love to see some ellies. Elephants are one of my favourite creatures on the planet, so I look forward to. I know things are a little bit quiet elephant-wise, and that really fluctuates with lots of different things, different vegetation, different amounts of rainfall, the northern and southern corridors coming out of Kruger into Sabi Sands. So there's lots of contributing factors there, but if we bump into some ellies, that'd be really nice as well. But great question. Thank you very, very much. it's the sort of thing, Lynn and Kathy, I can't survive without you guys telling me things like that. You think that lion is one of the Matimba males. Well, thank you very, very much for that, Lynn and Kathy. That's the sort of stuff that I need to have your help for, and that's why this is such a fantastic program. I love it. I've got thousands and thousands of people helping me around here and enjoying this beautiful morning with me. So thank you very, very much, Lynn and Kathy, updating me there on maybe one of the Matimba males. Just going to drive along here slowly. He had a bit of pace on. He wasn't walking. He was walking with purpose, I like to say. When you see an animal walking with purpose, when we see him again, but when he's back on a walk, elephant walk at about, I think about just over 6 kilometers an hour. We walk at about just over 4 kilometers an hour at an easy pace. So trying to keep up with an elephant, even though they look like they're walking quite slow, is quite a challenge. You've really got to have a bit of pace on, and animals do walk a lot quicker than you think. So I'm just driving very slowly here, folks, and I hope you're okay with that. It's really important just for me to get to know these roads again, as I say, and get to know these animals again. He definitely was coming through this way, but they can change point. They can have a little bit of a directional turn. They might get distracted as well. This crest here, I remember coming up here one day, driving up here at about a similar time of the morning, and there was 4 wild dog and their pups just walking over this crest here down towards us. They're the sort of things that make your heart sing. Unexpected encounters like that are just the most beautiful thing in Africa, and that's what it's about. You drive around, you find some things, you see some things. Let's just have a look back there. Question from Jeffrey in Texas. Hi Jeffrey, welcome aboard Safari Live and great to meet you. Jeffrey wants to know if the colder weather affects the lion's metabolism, whether they eat less. Lions have to feed themselves as and when they can. They're probably a little bit less opportunistic than leopard, but the leopard has a fantastic ability to store its food, take it up into a tree and go back later and eat it. But lions will generally hunt when they need to. There's so many contributing factors, Jeffrey, to that, particularly when it comes to the size of the pride. Obviously, the bigger the pride, the more often they have to hunt, the more times they have to make kills, and it really does depend on the size of the pride. So they will eat when they need, they will hunt when they need, but you'll definitely, every sort of couple of days, they will be on the hunt, and that will just depend on the size of animals they're hunting as well. I've read in books that in times of drought and very, very dire straits, they will even eat vegetation, some native melons and things like that. So they're quite incredible. But the king of adaptation, or the king of being able to scratch out an existence anywhere, are leopards. They will eat anything from crickets to large hoofed animals, of course, as we know, and everything in between. Very, very adaptive, incredible. They can carve out an existence in pretty much anywhere. Okay. see him, but the temperature's quite nice, so we've still got some good temperature up our sleeve. What I'm going to do is just drop back down here and then take a left back into Djuma proper, and it was just beautiful to see him, I suppose, and he got on his merry way there. So yeah, Pete will be back out on drive soon. I'm sure everyone's dying to meet Pete and see Pete again. For people that know Peter, what an incredible guy he is, and a great mate of mine. We stay in contact through all different types of communication, from him in Namibia to me in the United Kingdom, and we caught up with each other yesterday morning in Johannesburg at the airport, and flew out here together, and it was a great thing to see him. He's a great man. Looking forward to getting back into his vehicle, and he'll be right with you any moment, and I'll keep you updated on that. Going to come up through this little I love this road just here. I've always loved this road. It's just one of these little roads that not a lot of people travel down, and some of you might know my old saying, you never know what's around the next corner, and it's so true. I should have said it this morning when we first started off, because what was around the next corner was that beautiful Matimba Male, and you never know what's around the next corner, folks. It's so true. So many times I've said it, and we will find something. I can smell Ellie. Or maybe just Ellie done. So one of the reasons why I didn't follow that male line, because he was just on a mission. The vegetation was getting very, very thick. We've got one vehicle this morning. I'm making sure that we keep in really, really good communication and sending you this beautiful stream from Djuma and Arathusa here. I didn't want to go into that really super thick vegetation and then just be sitting behind that animal all the way. So we're going to just try and find him a different way, and once the vegetation just gets too thick, we have to have a huge respect for that as well. The trees are and the vegetation are just as important as the animals, and we have to make sure that when it gets just too thick, not only can you break down massive amounts of vegetation, we damage the vehicle, and we're just trailing that animal through. So we'll just try and scratch around through these roads and see if we can come across him again. Listen to the Game Drive radio at the moment, everyone, so I'm just listening to hear what Brent's saying right now. I just heard his voice on the radio. So for those of you that have just joined us, maybe it's your first or second drive, the earpiece that I've got in here, I'm hearing the Game Drive channel. There's dozens and dozens of guides working on different reserves, private game reserves around here, and they'll all be communicating with each other and helping each other. That's what it's all about. Different guys that traverse Djuma and Arathusa will always let us know when they see something. So that's what I listen to sometimes. got a question from Ardell in Fresno. Welcome. Thank you very, very much for being on board with us this morning. And it's a great question. Why do leopards get given names and lions don't? Well, there's normally a lot more lions. The leopards have a tendency to have their home ranges that we end up sort of knowing a little bit more solidly than we do, and they change as well, but we've sort of got a bit more of a handle on the leopard ranges than we have on the lions. The lions do traverse a lot of different properties, and we will be having lines, different groups of males, coalitions that will change. It's very difficult sometimes to tell the difference between these males and also the females, but with the leopards we've got that identification with the spot marks on the last row of whiskers, that top row of whiskers that we use. Very difficult. I've talked to Scott, I've talked to Brent and the other guides, and just said to them the other night, last night, you guys might have to help me a little bit with the ID of the leopards, and they were in agreement. They were just like, well, gosh, sometimes we don't know, and we have to ask the viewers to help us, and that's exactly what this is all about, because you sometimes only see a tail, you see the back, the hind quarters, or you might just see the chest or a shoulder, and it's really important that we work together as a team and try and get as much information from everyone as we can. So it's normally because there's less leopard, we know a lot more about the leopard because of those home ranges, but really great question, and thank you very much. Seen him. There's a great question from Riley on Twitter. Hi Riley, and welcome aboard. Great to have you with us as well. I'll just stop here on this before we go down in this little drainage line, because I might have a little bit of a break-up. But Riley wants to know, do lion prefer certain prey species? Well, they really, if it's at the top of the menu for lion is buffalo. They will normally hunt medium-sized ungulates, which is another sort of fancy word for hoofed animals, and that's the whole range of hoofed animals, right from elephants down to hyrax. But they normally will be looking for things like young buffalo if they can, zebra, kudu, but buffalo are definitely at the top of the menu. But there's certainly a lot of skill involved with hunting buffalo, and particularly when it comes to those solitary big boys. You'll have to have experienced males on board, or a lot of experienced females, to be able to pull down a big buffalo. They're top of the food menu for them. They will definitely feed a good pride for a couple of days, and that's what they would go for if they can. They'll follow the buffalo herds as well, trying to single out injured or youngsters. We've been really privileged here back in November to see 5 males. The Birmingham boys, which I used to love following around, they really did do an incredible hunt right in front of our very eyes, and they pulled down a young buffalo, but it was only a youngster, and they were young male lions as well, so they've got to gain their experience and learn how to do it. That's the thing that's really incredible about lion. The more experience they get, the better they get at it. So great question. Again, wonderful questions from everyone. They prefer the buffalo, but there's loads of other species that they will hunt if they can as well. So when Pete and I were arriving yesterday, we got word from all the guys that you all were watching lions hunting buffalo, or having a try yesterday, which is a great thing to see. Incredible incredible thing to see. So they really do have a great preference for buffalo, if they can. We are just heading around back onto that dam wall, and I'm just going to do my normal dam run, if that's okay, just to find my feet again, back in the saddle for the first day again. Just going to drive along the dam wall here and head over towards Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam, and see what we can find. Driving up to this dam now, folks. One of the zoomies just gave us a little bit of an update, and thank you so much, that there's a hippo in this dam. Water level's definitely different from when I was here last. Definitely dropped considerably. Got some beautiful saddle-bill storks over there, and that's a great sight. Two beautiful birds. Really gorgeous. They really are a super bird. They're really tall. Get up to about 150 centimeters tall. In feet, that's probably about 4 feet tall. Magnificent bird. So we've got our Juma camera over here. I'll just give a bit of a wave to you guys that are watching, our zoomies out there on that live webcam. Fantastic. I'm just wondering if are they hippo nostrils just there, mate? I'm just having a look.
Sorry, I was just on a little clear up and down here.
Okay, just let me have a little quick squeeze down here. Just looking through my binoculars, folks, just to see if there's a hippo in here. No, can't see him at the moment. One of the things I do like to do, everyone, is I like to create a little bit of a bird list, and it's really nice just to check out birds, because sometimes when you're not looking at mammals and people are, get a little bit fixated on mammals, I find it nice to have a look at birds. Now, I'm a little bit of a techie geek, and I'm just going to show you something here. I've got my little bird list, and I've got a great app that I can show you that beautiful saddlebill stork there, and then you can get a little picture on it. So if I do see a bird far off that I point out, and I won't spend too much time on it, I can bring the picture of the bird up for you and just have a little bit of a look. And then we can create a little bit of a list. I've got on here from about 37 birds we did last time. There's loads more birds than that. They're all different ones. So if we see anything, we'll try and bring it up. And the great thing about this as well is that it can give the call of the bird. So we'll make sure that we do that and have a little bit of a bird list going. Quite nice fun, spot a couple of birds. We did have a very funny time last time with the simplest of birds, but the fork-tailed drongo. I love that little bird so much. It's a very, very common bird. But sure enough, we tried for days to get a vocalization from that bird, and I couldn't. So if I do, I'll play it for you. and I do love my birds. It's just also when I travel around the world, you know, I might be in Uganda at one point, or I might be in Asia at another point. You do need to brush up on your birds, because it's like speaking another language when you do come down to another location in the world. So it's all about refreshing yourself, looking in books, talking to people, and I really, really wonder where that leopard went. Keeping eyes open around this area. There's a lovely little drainage line here, folks, that we often see leopard walking along. Just got a question from Jeffrey in Texas. Hi, Jeffrey. That's a great part of the world. I've been there a couple of times, and I really do love Texas. Jeffrey's question is, do saddle-billed storks prey on other birds? Well, they predominantly hunt fish and small reptiles, amphibians, but they have been seen to take other small birds. If that bird is slow enough, or it might be injured, definitely heard accounts of them taking small doves and things like that, particularly when there might be a terrapin or any of the turtles actually hunting. They'll just hang under the surface with their nostrils out, and you get a lot of the dove species that will come down to drink, and the terrapins will just grab one of the doves. Well, sometimes you get a saddle-billed stork that'll take that dove, but generally speaking, it's amphibians and fish and small reptiles. But really nice question, mate. So as I said, folks, this morning is a little bit about me getting finding my feet again. So I really appreciate your understanding. You know, I haven't been here since November, and just getting to know the roads and driving along, seeing what I can see. Also listening to the Game Drive channel, but I've got to concentrate a little bit on where I am, and I'll do my utmost to find things for you, and we'll just keep going and going and going until we see some great animals. It's just a beautiful thing to be here as well, and I said it before, but I really want to try and give you all the senses, you know, the smell, that sense of smell of the African bush. It's pretty hard to put into words, but at different times of the day, and I always love the early morning and the late afternoon. There's this sweet smell of the grass that wafts over the vehicle. You definitely get a sense of a unique smell of the African bush, and the temperature always, and just the general overall feel. And if we can send that across to you, you get an even better sense of being here. It's really, really important. And some of the scents that we pick up as well, and when I mean scents, the smells of animals. You know, you'll get the smell of elephants. There's some unique sort of sweet smell about them, about their dung and about their skin and themselves, you know, and particularly when an elephant's in must, which is that temporal secretion that the males secrete very, very heavily. There's quite pungent, quite a pungent smell as well. So there's gorgeous smells about. And you know what, being a zookeeper, my job was to pick up animal dung for a living, and I did that for a very, very long time, and that was our I'm just going to head up to, I'm pretty sure this is up to I'm just going to remember on my roads, actually. That might not be the road I'm looking for. To treehouse down. Does that go up the treehouse down? Or is it one further along? I think it's one further along. I'll just double check. I'm going to drop down into this little drainage line, folks, so please understand if we get a little drop out or the signal breaks up a little bit. We'll be right with you. But sorry, animals dung is incredibly important to watch this aerial here. Sorry. Incredibly important. It tells you so much about what's going on in the bush, and that bush newspaper is our eyes and ears. It's what happened last night. That bush newspaper tells us what animals were here, what happened last night, and you can tell so much from it. I mean, when you go walking with Stefan, for example, you know, that's like another world. There's different types of tracking. There's basic tracking, which is the sort of thing I can do, and then you move up to, you know, the levels of Stefan, and you're talking about this systematic tracking that you use. You put all the pieces of the puzzle together, and you can definitely write a novel about the bush or a newspaper about the bush that day. So it's really important we keep our eyes on the road, looking for tracks across the road, and you'll know that, say for example, we had a massive rain shower. Just let me stop talking for a second while we just go through this little drainage line, because I know this little one's a bit notorious for dropping out its signal. So we can know that if there's been a rain shower and then you walk out, or you drive out for that matter, you'll know that every obliterated track that's gone, all those tracks that you're seeing after that rain shower are fresh. And that's a beautiful time to go out looking for tracks, and they are quite beautiful as well. You know, line track and a leopard track. Let me just stop and give you a little look at that, because that's a nice thing to compare sometimes as well. I might just reverse back into the shade a bit, because I want to show you on another little gizmo that's quite nice to have. Now I've just got on this, just a little app that just compares those tracks together, and I'll just open up here, you bear with me. So have a look at that. I'll just get the reflection off there for you, Andrew, and the difference between the sort of shape and the size. That leopard track is much more snug, I suppose, or much sort of more condensed than a line track, and it's just nice to see the difference. I'm just trying to get the reflection off there for you, Andrew. Let me get out of the way. And it's a really nice thing just to have a little look at that, because not often do you see the leopard and the line track next to each other, but that gives you a little bit more of an indication. You see that elongated toe of the line, and a lot more of a space between the pad and the sort of toe pads as well. So I love to do this for you, because, you know, I'm learning every day as well, and I learn from people like Stefan and Brent and Pete, and you just pick up bits of information daily, day in, day out. And if I can share a little trick with you, or a little way of differentiating, I'll always try and do that. And as I said, you'll probably see me pull out gadget after gadget, but I love it, because in this day and age, if we don't start to bring tech into the outside world, we are alienating ourselves, because we wouldn't be here doing this right now, talking to you from on the other side of the world, just telling you or broadcasting this message. So technology is in our world. Let's embrace it and bring it into the bush. And one of the things I do have to say to you, if you've got children out there, in wherever you are, that spend a lot of time on one of these things, and that's the sort of, they sit on the lounge or they sit in their bedroom, and you think, oh, I can't get them away from the tablet. Take it outdoors, get it outside. Take this bit of kit outside and get them to get an app that they can actually start to identify and classify things in their hometown, with their own wildlife. That's the really important thing, folks, and you'll start to learn. If you don't know me already, working with children is what I do on a daily basis, but, you know, adults alike. But these little people are the next generation that's going to look after places like this. So without me preaching too much, you'll get to know me that there's always an answer for getting people outside and getting into the wilds of the world and enjoying it wherever you are, that's for sure. So that's a little bit of an update on the difference between. I think that leopard track is quite compact. It's a really compact little print, a little pug mark, quite beautiful. So the guys warned me about the flies as well, and I can start to feel them raising their little heads. The interesting thing is that I'm from Australia, so I've got a little bit of a genetic disposition for flies, and I come from the land of flies. So I've told them that I'm prepared. Now that being said, I might do the Australian wave a couple of times to you. And I saw some great things at Brent. The Australian wave a couple of times to you. And I saw some great things at Brent, clapping his face many a time to try and get rid of these hundreds of flies around. But they do become a little bit problematic. But hey ho, they are part of the ecosystem as well. Turn this radio back up a little bit. I've seen many a buffalo sitting in that little wallow just there. Many a buffalo have come up and seen some solitary males just lying in there in the heat of the day. So a fantastic question from Lynn in Toronto. Hi Lynn, so good to have you on board as well. Great question. This is quite a funny little thing, and for anyone that doesn't know what this is about, Lynn's question is, did my son Jack allow me to bring the lucky quill back with me? And he did. I had to bribe him a little bit, that's for sure. The lucky quill, it's just a bit of fun, and I carry it around to bring us a bit of luck, and it did this morning. We saw leopard early, and we've seen lion, but my son did allow me to bring it back. He keeps it quite safe in his bedroom, but it's a great little thing and a good bit of fun. Jack definitely does rub it before he goes into a test at school. He thinks it brings all types of luck, so good bit of fun. But great question, thanks Lynn, and great to have you on board. I was sitting in London with my son a couple of weeks back, and I was around at a friend's place for lunch, and the boys were all sort of playing a couple of games, and my friend's children, and Renee and Andrew and my wife Nina, and we were all sitting there, and I said, boys, do you want to see what's on Safari Live? And Jack was like, yeah, all right, let's see what's going on. And we dialed up, I'm sorry, we got them dialed up, there you go, that shows my age. We logged on, and we were watching Wild Safari Live from London, and Scotty was at, I think he was at Twin Dams, and he was with a beautiful herd of buffalo. Maybe it was Buffalosook Dam, actually, it was Buffalosook Dam. And he was having a wild time. Really beautiful herd of buffalo, and so I tweeted in to see if Scotty would answer a question for the boys, and that really just sort of brought it home to me how incredible this project is on Wild Safari Live. And Scotty said, "Hi HT and hi Jack and your friends." And Jack's question was how many buffalo did he think were there? But that's just a beautiful connection, and that's what this is all about. The interaction with you folks is exactly what this is about, because otherwise we'd be just driving around making a documentary about wildlife, which is also a beautiful thing, so don't get me wrong, but this is special. You, all of you out there, everyone from the Facebook Juma junkies and all these fantastic people on Ustream and the people that watch all over the world, just an amazing interaction that I've never had before, and I keep banging on about it, but it's the truth. It's from my heart, folks. A really heartfelt thank you to everyone, and I guarantee you Peter's looking forward to talking to you as well about that. Just want to head up to Treehouse Dam. Had some beautiful encounters there. Temperature's rising a little bit. Just listening to the Brent at the moment, folks, so excuse me for a second. I'm just going to have a look at Treehouse Dam and then I'm going to give Brent a call. I think they're... Copy, Brent. Okay, copied that, mate. We're on our way. Thank you so much. Standing by. Okay, folks, so here's a little update. It all happens. Beautiful little herd of bushbuck. Little herd of bushbuck. Just turning my radio down there. Female bushbuck there. Vervet monkeys up in the trees, and just got a nyat. I'm sorry guys, I was listening to that. It's nyala females down there. Beautiful little herd there. I can't see the male. Apologies there. I was really concentrating on what was going on there. Quarantine is over on a location that they've spotted, so what I'm going to do is just try and get there, not as quickly as I can, but just move across that way. So if that's alright, we're going to do that. We've got a little vervet troop up in the tree there. I haven't seen vervets here for a while. Have a look at those quickly, mate. Just getting that morning sun. Okay, I'm going to head off if that's alright. Just listening to the radio, folks, so please excuse me, just concentrating on what's being said by the guides. I'm heading over towards a location that the queue has been found. Going to put a little bit of pace on, folks, if that's alright. look there. Sorry I'm driving so fast, folks, but I just wanted to see if we can get a sighting of this magnificent cat. Is my favorite cat in the world. And Brent, bless him, hey, he's amazing. He's fantastic. Suddenly, the location where you are all comes flooding back to you. I now have got a map in my mind exactly where I've got to go. I've got to go up to the top of this hill, turn right. We're going to go down in a hill into Philemon's Dip. We're going to cut across Quarantine. I think, yes. Sorry, Andrew. Okay. Hold on, buddy. So, folks, you know that always we would be driving with great respect. We're driving at a speed that might feel fast compared to what we're normally driving. We'd never be driving through here at a speed that would be detrimental to the wildlife. We've always got our eyes open. And making sure that we always keep that code of conduct. Very, very important when you're driving in the bush. Looking out always, and it's not just for wildlife, it's for other vehicles as well. Okay, I know where I am. I know where I am. Just driving down in this little dip here and then up this hill. A couple of these contour banks, we're just taking slow over them. Come on, gotta see my boy. Gotta see my boy. Turn around the camera, folks. It might look like I'm crying. I'm not. It's just the wind in my eyes, okay? I'm not getting emotional. I really do want to see this cat, though. Okay, so we're a little ways off, folks. I'm going to try and cut across Quarantine here. Keeping my eyes out all the time because this is definitely where we saw, it looked like Karula to me this morning, but couldn't follow her. But you never know what's around the next corner. We're cutting right through the middle of Quarantine here, a very familiar part of territory for us. This is where one night we sat here and we did a live campfire, fireside chat right here, and Kanuma sat in the tree right above us. This is what it's about. The most exciting thing, folks, is when you get that call through the radio that someone's got a sighting, and these wonderful guides share it with you. Come on. Let me just bring Brent in again, folks. Just stand by for me. I'm just going to give him a quick call. Brent, do you copy? Can you just give me an update, please, on Q? Okay, copy that, mate. So we're on our way. Just going through quarantine now. So folks, Brent's just given me a little bit of an update. Q seems to be walking down Puffershoek cut line. I'm going to take a little sneaky road that I remember. Was it this one? Was it this one? Yeah, I think it's the next one. I think it's the next one. There's a little sneaky road that goes down here that we might be able to cut off about a few minutes off our drive. Otherwise, I'd have to go right up to the other cut line and then down, and I don't want to miss this opportunity. I think it is the next one. Just getting my bearings. So if you've just joined us, folks, the reason why we're driving a little bit of pace is because one of the leopards, my favourite leopard, Q, is being spotted on the other side of the property. He's probably about 2 minutes from where we are. That's the reason why I've got a little bit of pace on. And if you've just joined us and I've never met you before, my name's Hayden. I haven't been here since November, just getting my feet back on the ground and getting back in the saddle. And really, really thank you for joining us. It's a great thing to have you on board. So if we see this leopard, wow, make my day. It makes my day just being here. I do look like I am crying, but I'm not crying, I promise you. I've got tears streaming down my face because of the wind. I think this is the road. I think this is the road. Please be the road. So we're really just trying to get there as quickly as we can, as respectfully as we can, of course, as I've said before, but it's not that I wouldn't stop if there was another beautiful animal, but obviously big cats are hugely on our agenda. They're one of the most spectacular things. There's many beautiful things in the bush, and all of you know that it's not just about the cats, it's about everything that fits into this magnificent habitat and ecosystem. Everything plays its role, but I can't really explain to you what the fire in your belly is about when it comes to leopard. For me, I just love these cats, and that animal that we're about to go and try and find, Q, is my favourite cat on the planet. So if we see him, HT's going to be a happy boy. So if you've got any questions, folks, please send them through. You can tweet them to us at #SafariLive, or you can send an email to us at questions@wildearth.tv. Either way, we'll get them. We try and answer as many as we possibly can. Obviously, questions that are pertinent to what we're doing are great. Obviously, you can ask anything, so it doesn't have to be that. But if we're on a sighting, that's always helpful. You can sort of steer the drive like that as well. But any personal questions, if you don't know me and you need to know a little bit about my background, please feel free to ask. What's an Australian accent doing here in this magnificent southern land? Well, I've got a lot in common. I'm in the same hemisphere. I was born in Australia, but as much as I love Australia and it's a magnificent continent, Africa is in my soul. I see a vehicle driving there. So I'm going to just go down this parallel road. Let's see if I can locate them. This little fire break here runs parallel to Buffelshoek cut line. What to do here? What to do? I might just hang a little left in here. And then it's probably safer to go down the cut line. And then we're probably more likely to come in contact with Brent and anyone else that's on lock. Obviously, I have to respect, we all do. Just looking over my shoulder here, making sure also. Brent, you copy? Brent, I've just passed Buffelshoek property sign on the cut line. Continue on from there towards Buffelshoek down there. Okay, copy, mate. How many vehicles on lock, mate? Okay, mate. Thanks for that. Standing by. So, folks, what I just did. Sorry, folks. You're a legend, mate. Thank you so much. We're on our way. So fantastic. So fantastic. These guys. Brent just told me that they're making space for us. Amazing. Isn't that great? There's a couple of vehicles on location there, and Andrew, one of the other fantastic guides. Just so nice. It's a big family, folks. I just listen to the radio then, and everyone looks after each other and makes space and gives everyone a beautiful sighting. They know how important it is for us to share this with everyone as much as their guests, and they're just wonderful stuff. Got about 2 kilometres down this road, so Brent's giving me the heads up. We just carry on slowly. I don't want to drive too fast. So I might go quiet a little bit here, folks, when I'm driving. Just, I know you understand, but I'm listening to exactly what's going on the guide's radio. And if those little moments occur where I might have a little bit of a quietness, please understand that. Really important for me to arrive at this sighting gently and not go crashing in, and hear exactly what's going on. So good to be here, folks. Thank you for all the support. Just magic. See some vehicles up ahead here. Excuse me guys, I just got to talk to right here. HC copy. Just coming over the crest, coming towards you, probably about 500 metres. Just getting an update of where he is. I can see some vehicles up ahead. I'm not sure if that's exactly where it is or what location, but I'll give Brent a call when I get closer. This is what's fantastic, folks. Having Brent on the ground is a piece of gold for me. You know, Brent's got eyes and we might just have a little bit of a dropout here, folks, so please just bear with me. I'll just cut comms for 1 second. Hopefully we're all good. As I said, it's a piece of gold for me today, having him out there and doing what he's doing. I can't thank him enough. Sharing these moments with you, with me, with everyone is just what it's about, and helping each other. I go on a bit, don't I? Yeah, I do. Brent, you copy? Brent, you copy? Brent, confirm it's 2 vehicles on the Buffelshoek cut line. Just confirm that's the location. Okay, mate, we're about a couple of 100 metres back. Is it alright to approach? Thank you so much, guys. We really appreciate it. We've been given the green light, folks. Just approaching slowly now, folks. Got a tweet from Little White Butterfly. Thank you very much. It's a fantastic name. The question is, how long has Quarry or Q been tracked for this morning? I would probably say, looking at my watch now, about maybe 2 hours, 1.5, 2 hours, and that's all I can probably tell you right now, but I'll get some more information from from Brent and anyone else that's at the location. But as soon as I get some more info on that, I'll come back to you. Really nice question too. Those are the sorts of questions that are really interesting, because it's a lot of people think about that. How long do you have to track an animal? How long do you have to be with an animal before you find it? It varies. There's my boy. Yes! There's my boy. Jeez.
Morning. Good morning. How are you, man?
Thank you so much. Thanks, Tex. So much, mate. Great to see you, buddy. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, my goodness me. My boy. Oh, check that out, everyone. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, I'm so chuffed. I can't tell you how happy I am. Sitting up on that termite mound. A really interesting question from Tina in Houston. Tina, being a zookeeper for the length of time that I was, you do get a bit of a connection with animals. And Tina's question is, do you think that he'd recognise me well? Probably not, Tina, as much as I would love to think that. But you know, these animals are wild animals. They see loads of different people. They might recognise vehicles. When I say recognise, they might get used to particular vehicles, etc. But and the shape of vehicles, I suppose if a big white truck drove through here or something, he might get off that termite mound. But he's pretty used to the shape and size of these vehicles. Oh, look at him! My goodness, he's definitely looking. He's on the hunt. Just sitting up on that termite mound, surveying the land there. But Tina, the answer to that is probably a definitive no. But in captivity, if you were hand rearing an animal, or I'm just going to start up and head back that other way, folks, if that's okay. In captivity, animals do start to build a bond with you. But in the wild, you might get a bit of a connection with an animal that sees you on a regular basis, particularly people that are doing field studies on elephant and things like that. But I think the answer to most animals is they wouldn't really. Definitely, there's some definite occurrences of just let this vehicle go past in front of us. There's definite elephant bonds that we've heard of, particularly with famous elephant scientists that have worked with animals for like 20 and 30 years. They would definitely have recollections of who that animal or who those humans were. Oh, this is a very, very happy day. So what we're doing here, folks, is being really respectful as well, because there was two vehicles here before us, and that's how it works. He's just crossing the road now, so we'll just let these vehicles go on. Once one of the vehicles moves on, we'll become second in line, and then the next vehicle will become first in line. So it's really important to understand the morals and ethics and conduct as well of us here on safari, and I'm sure most of you understand that, but just to give you an update on that, it's really, really important. The guys have brought us in here. Even somebody that was here made space for me, particularly Andrew, and you know, that boy, that mate of mine who I haven't seen for a while, is definitely going to get a glass of something with me around a fire at some point one day soon. It's a really, really fantastic camaraderie that the guys have around here, and it's just a real pleasure to be around. Just going to let them move on a little bit here. I don't want to follow right behind another vehicle. I'd rather sit and talk to you for a second. We know that you guys are on it, and we're on it as well. But great questions coming through, folks. Really, really fantastic. And you the amount of knowledge out there amongst all the viewers is so huge, and I really rely on that. I rely on you to help me out with things, as I said, particularly IDs, and you know, many of you have been either on safari or been on Wild Safari Live from years and years and years, since Pete was, you know, out there every single day by himself, rattling around in Jigga, you know. It's just a really fantastic thing to have you all on board, and wow, what a morning. I'll tell you what, my little boy's going to be pretty impressed when the lucky porcupine quill has definitely struck gold this morning. I have to pinch myself sometimes, folks, to realise how lucky I am. A stinky little zookeeper from Australia that's followed his dream, and here I am, driving down the road, talking to all you wonderful people with my favourite cat in the world. We'll get up nice and close with him just now, so don't worry about anything there. I'm just hanging back a little bit. As I said, he's just gone off-road now into a drainage line, but we'll just keep an eye on him. I'm just going to stop so you can get a little look at him. There's a nice shot just through there, Andrew, I think. Can you see him through there, mate? It's a bit tricky. Let me move back a little bit for you, buddy. I do apologise. He's just sat down. Is that good for you? Can you get him in there? He's just in there. He's just sat down. You got him, yeah, you got him. So he's just sat down. Now, the interesting thing, folks, is we're going to turn off for a second and just watch him for a minute. He's just placed himself in a very, very nice covered area. Now that covered area is potentially going to be an ambush position for him. And this is what leopards are superior at, is stealth. And just laying and waiting and being at one with their surroundings. It sounds like a couple of different... I can't quite see what antelope are down there at the moment, but someone might have got wind of him. There was a little wind blowing. If I had Stefan's dust bag here, I could show you, but if you can just have a look at the trees just blowing on the right hand side, a little bit of grass blowing in the right hand corner of screen there as well. That gives you a little indication that the wind is blowing down onto that water point. So any animals that are down there may pick up his scent. They may get wind of him, we'll just see. But it's just nice to be in his presence. Do you want me to move back a bit, Andrew, or are you okay?
I don't know if we're going to get a shot going back either.
Okay, I'll just try, mate, and see what we get. What's that like for you, mate?
That's pretty good.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay, you get a little bit better shot of him there. And always really important for me to try and get Andrew into the best... Oh, look at that! That's the face I love. That boy is good, eh? I love it when that alertness comes up there. Just got a vehicle you can see driving into shot down the other side. Now don't worry, folks, about that, because the camera angle does actually make the vehicle look a lot closer than he is. We're not surrounding him by any means. That vehicle is probably 50 metres away from us. It just looks like that on the camera, and he's down in a little bit lower position. A fantastic question, Pam in Sussex. Well, fantastic to have you on board. You know what, I'm normally Pam on a daily basis in the county right next door to you in the United Kingdom. Great to have you on board, Pam. This is Q. He has been known in the past as Quarantine. We've sort of shortened it to Q because it was a bit of a weird name in the sense it didn't roll off the tongue like some of the other names. So we've sort of shortened it to Q. The reason why, he used to be seen up in an area called Quarantine quite a lot. Now, he's about 2.5 years old. He is the son of Karula, and if anyone's out there that knows the family tree a lot better, I'm sure you are, tweet along for me and help me out a little bit. I'm just trying to remember the exact family tree. The son of Karula, and I think he is the son of Mvula as well. So that's the male leopard, and Karula, the mother, the queen of Juma, who I do think I saw this morning. I'm going to keep that one for myself. I'm going to tell myself that it was Karula that leapt across the road in front of me. But just to bring you up to speed, Pam, this leopard here was the first leopard I saw in Sabi Sands on my sort of journey on WildSafari Live. So he's quite a special leopard to me, and he is just a beautiful boy. He's got a special look about him as well. I don't know what it is. I can't really put it into words, but all leopards have got different looks and different sort of shaped heads and different markings, and this boy, to me, he's still far from fully grown, but he's a spectacular creature. Just sitting here with him. Really nice question from Deborah and Ramey. Does Q look a little bit bigger to me? Well, you know what? It's a fantastic way to sort of give a passage of time and to come back and see whether an animal's put on size or not. I definitely saw Q on WildSafari Live whilst I was watching in the United Kingdom about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I think it was, and he looked really lean. He looked like he needed a good meal. He wasn't like starving or anything like that, and he just needed look like he needed a good meal. From seeing him just there on that termite mound, he looks like he's in perfect condition. So he does look a little bit bigger. So November, December, January, February, March, April, just beginning May. So 6 months ago, so he's put on a little bit of size probably, but he did have an impala kill about 2 days ago, so he's got a pretty full belly at the moment, and when he gets up to full size, he'll be up to about 80 kilograms. Just got to try and convert that in my head for you into pounds. What's that, about 170 pounds, is it? Maybe, roughly about that. And he'll be a big boy, but he's a spectacular creature. And I think when you talk to people that, I don't know, we've all got our sort of favourite animals, and I suppose I get asked the question a lot, what's my favourite animal, and I really don't have a definitive answer on that because I love so many different species. But when it comes to cats, being in the presence of leopard, is something very, very special. What we're doing right now is something very, very special. I think he's gone flat, has he?
Yeah, totally flat.
I'm just going to poke my nose in a little bit tighter, folks, if that's okay. So just bear with me for a second. So you'll also have to bear with me when I do my conversions, everyone. I normally work in kilograms, but I always do a conversion when I can to Fahrenheit or to pounds or to feet meters, etc. And I'm pretty sure I'm giving a bit of an estimate of 175-ish pounds. on that for the comparison to about 80 kilograms. So I'm just poking my nose in down here and just seeing where he went flat. We use that term a lot, folks, flat cat. There he is. I'm just going to try and nose in down here a little bit. And we're just going to sit with him for a second. We're not going to go too close and disturb him. But was that pretty nice for you, Andrew?
Beautiful.
Because just between you and me, it's pretty nice for me. Oh my goodness. There he is. Yeah. There's a good chance, folks, that he's going to stay in this location for a bit, so we might sit with him for a little bit. And of course, I don't want to sit with a flat cat for too long if he's lying on his side, for obvious reasons. There's loads more other things to see out there, but we'll just sit with him for a little bit, remembering that leopards are hugely opportunistic. You'd only have to get a water buck or a nyala or any other hoofed animal that walk down here. He might take that opportunity, so always good just to sit and wait and be patient for a little bit. It's so wonderful to be doing this. You know, to get feedback from all of you out there, and just get that feedback from Ellen and Jody, that just gave me an update on his sort of family tree and what happened, his who he was born to and everything. Thank you so much to both of you, just to confirm that my memory's not going, even though I'm getting on in years. It is Karula's fourth litter, and that was the information I couldn't remember. So thank you so much to both of you for that. Kanuma's brother litter mate, and also the son of Mvula. And Mvula is that beautiful big boy that we do see, and has been such a star on Wild Safari Live, as all the leopards have, of course. But this boy is a super cat. I do remember when I first saw him, he was lying in the cool of a little riverbed just down. I'll show you the location on a drive another time where I found him, and every time I go past that spot, I always look there to see if he's lying there again. And he was lying in the cool of the sand, and he stayed there, and then he got up and started to walk. But they're just an incredible cat. So this is a typical sort of morning for a cat, for a leopard. You know, walk until it gets too hot to carry on, lay in a nice cool spot, little tiny breeze ever so slightly washing over him now, and he will just lay there until either a prey species walks down and unawares of him, or whether he just decides to sleep there for most of the day. Get up, go down, have a drink, depends on what he wants to do. So we just got another vehicle turning up, folks. It's probably the noise you can hear in the background there. And they're just pulling up. Another fantastic guide and his guests to see Q. And he's just gone flat down there, so all we can see is his back leg at the moment. So, excuse me, folks. What we might do is, I'm going to ask you, and this is what I love about it. I'm going to ask you what you think we should do. We'll get an overwhelming response. If you want to tweet in to us right now and just give us a bit of an idea, you help me with this drive, and that's the most important thing. We do. If we guests on the back, we would always say, what would you like to do, folks? Sit for a little bit longer, or move on and try and find some other things? My personal opinion, just to give you some advice, is he's going to stay like that for quite some time. He looks like he's settled down, and we could be just seeing that back leg. I don't really want to go any closer and disturb him. So if you want to tweet us now, we can get a little bit of an idea of what you'd like us to do, and that would be fantastic. Thank you. So if you've just joined us, what we've done so far is just bumbled around Juma, which is what I really needed to do. I really needed to get my feet back on the ground, so to speak, and back in the saddle, and all the analogies under the sun that I always use, but I've really wanted to just get familiarised myself again. And if you've just joined us, you can just see a couple of spots at the bottom of the screen there. That is Q, one of our beautiful male leopards here on Juma, who's just sort of laid down in the shade there. He's been on the walk for about 15-20 minutes. We just joined the lock here with everyone, and the guides were fantastic at bringing us in, and a big hats off and big shout out thank you to Brent for bringing us in here this morning. He's an absolute legend, and it's the first morning that I've worked with Brent, and I can tell you now it's going to be a great relationship out here together, finding these beautiful creatures together. So just to update you on that, we saw the tail end of that lion, who was on a bit of a mission. We let him be, and the reason, as I told you, we let him be is because the vegetation got a little bit too heavy through there, and I didn't want to destroy vegetation unnecessarily. That male lion was on a bit of a mission, purpose, walking as he was. And just before we started this morning, about 15 minutes before we went live, I saw Karula dash across the road chasing a nyala. So far it's been a pretty beautiful morning, and I think we should just wait to see what you say, whether we're going to move off or stay here, and I'll get an update just now. Okay, folks. Well, you know what I think. I think we should head off. We're just getting some feedback that majority of people think we should probably move on. And you know what? We know where Q is. We know that he's bunkered down here. We'll come back and try and pick this up this afternoon, and see if we can follow on and get Brent out on location again. I'm just going to cruise along the dam wall now, which is always a nice look. Have a look at some hippos, see if there's any birds there, and move on off. Okay, let's go. Not yet. No problem, mate. Thank you. It's really nice just to exchange a little bit of information with the other guides. Just asked, has he been to the waterhole already or not? And that information can tell us whether we stick around or not. And he might go down and have a drink. We've got about 30-40 minutes to go, and I'd rather just move on. We saw a beautiful sighting up on that termite mound, a great encounter, and Q hour and yeah, right, my watch I'm just looking at, I made a bit of a mistake there, I think. Yeah, hour and 10 minutes. I do apologise, folks. Do you know why I said that? It's because I normally used to start a half an hour later and earlier. I do apologise. I'm just getting used to this different start time. So I'm just going to try and get my jacket off because it's definitely warming up here, and I just don't want to rip my earpiece out. Just bear with me, folks. I'm just removing my coat. Temperature's rising. Temperature's rising dramatically. Okay, we've got a beautiful hippo here. Now, I've sat here many a day and seen all different numbers in this dam, Buffelshoek Dam, ranging from like 1 or 2 to what we've got now to potentially 15, 16. Oh, there's 3 there. There's a younger calf as well. And always fantastic to watch. Now they will be here in this beautiful sort of cool location, protecting their very sensitive skin, of course, and coming out to graze in the later hours of the afternoon and then off into the night, where they can walk for several kilometres depending on food availability, and go off and graze. A lot of people think, you've probably heard a lot of this stuff from Brent and the other guides and Scott, but please excuse me if I'm retelling information that we all know. But there's just lovely little things about hippos that you've all got a little story about a hippo. I used to look after hippopotamus in a zoo that I worked at, and I also looked after the pygmy hippopotamus, which is the cousin of the common hippopotamus that's found up in West Africa. Much smaller, very or slightly different body shape, eyes on the sides of their heads, being a species that spends a lot more time out of the water than in the tropical rainforests of West Africa. And it was great to be able to work with both different species, but they still both have pretty serious attitude. You've got to be very careful of both of them, and a great creature. But they'll move from waterhole to waterhole at night, and there's only a couple in here, but I used to see a good population here. I've seen some really cool things happen around this dam. We might move on. It's an interesting thing. The population fluctuates, and I asked the guys how many hippo in what dams and etc. And I think what I remember the guys saying is that there's only 2 in here last time they looked. So another one could have come across from another dam last night or the day before, and just joined up. I've been in places in Africa where I've seen concentrations of hippo, particularly in Uganda, like astonishing, absolutely astonishing, where one bull will be looking after 50 cows. Just going to go through this dip and just talk on the other side. A break up through that dip there. There's a few areas through here as well, folks. I remember the signal can be a little bit scratchy at times, so I'm going to try and make my way back over to safer ground. We did speed off from Twin Dams and Treehouse Dam, so I might just make my way across that way again. And see what we can find. But wow, what a morning so far. 3 cats, 2 on camera, 1 that we saw just before the starter camera that I'll definitely go back up and see if we can find tracks going across the road there. just a beautiful, beautiful morning. I'm very fortunate to be back with you. And I just also want to tell you a little bit about the team that are here with us for this next week. And we're so proud to be, always proud to be online, webcasting on Wild Safari Live. We've got 2 broadcasts on the weekend, and the 9th and 10th across the United States on National Geographic Wild, Nat Geo Wild. I'm very, very proud to be doing that. It's very deep in my heart, Nat Geo, and it's going to be a great time. And these sort of working up towards that, finding out where all the animals are, and getting back to know everyone and talking to everyone is makes you feel really comfortable. So there's a great team here. Everyone's on location at the moment. There's about, I think we do get a little bit of breakup down here, so I might just keep the comms, the talking a little bit low through here. But ever so quickly, we had about 15, 18 of us around the fire last night. It was brilliant. So pretty. Signal drops out a little bit through here, folks, as I say. So when I go through those quiet times, I do apologise, but it's better me just getting through them. Same thing here. Could be a bit jumpy through here, folks. Get back and get a really nice signal for you before I started talking again, because I know what it feels like. I've watched Safari Live a lot, and it's unfortunate that just sometimes we just get that little breakup. But hey, as I always say, we're broadcasting live from the African bush out of a beautiful Land Rover here. We've got all the gear on. You'll get into those little choppy areas where we'll occasionally get it, and I know you all understand, and I know you've all been there with us for a very long time with that. So hopefully we're back nice and strong now. I'm moving back up towards Vaiatella Dam, and I really like that. This little road through here takes you up, and it takes you right through a very, very nice bit of vegetation. Lots of different species of acacia, and lovely, lovely vegetation through here. So pretty to see. When I was here in November, it was very, very different. We started to get the rains, of course, and it started to get greener, and then I've got lots and lots of grass here. There's an area that was burnt out right throughout here, so some great flush of green grass through. It's looking good. Got a question from Volma in Wisconsin. Welcome aboard and thank you very much for joining us. The question is, how long have I been doing drives here in Juma? Well, back in November 1st, I've just pulled up on a bit of an incline here. So I just want to stop before we get down into this little drainage line and I lose a little bit of signal. But to answer your question, Velma, I came on about the 1st of November last year, and Pieter and I did about 30 days straight of drives, and then we did Big Cat Week for Nat Geo. I left on about the 10th of December and then went back to the United Kingdom. Been working in my other hat that I've got on there, my other office, which is at English Woodland, and this is my other bigger office. And I've come back, been very privileged to come back and do some more drives back here and work with this incredible team of people on WildSafari Live. And it's just a great privilege, and I can't believe I'm back. It's great to be here. Might break up a little bit here. A question that comes up and I really like to answer it, so let me just stop quickly here. We're just in this bit of shade. Janet from Boston, thank you Janet and welcome aboard, great to have you, and I really need to turn to camera to answer this, and I'll be as concise as I possibly can. I'll just turn this other radio down ever so slightly. Janet's question is, do you think that zoos are important to conserve species or in the wild? You know, zoos have changed considerably over the last couple of 100 years. We've got a situation now where we've got amazing science that goes on in zoos. I'm just turning this radio down completely so I can concentrate a bit more. The science that goes on behind the scenes is some of the things that you don't really see. Good zoos around the world contribute hugely to the conservation of species in the wild. There'll be projects going on throughout South Africa, throughout all of Africa, that is funded by zoos around the world. And those little tiny projects are sometimes what makes that species either survive or teach the rest of us about what's needed, whether it be the preservation of a particular plant species or whether it means working with another species that animal relies on. So there's loads of stuff that goes on that we don't even know about. When we look at the sort of shop front, for want of a better term, of a zoo, they've changed considerably as well. Now, 10 years of working in a zoo for me really did mean it was the platform for me to get an understanding of why the importance of zoos are. Now, it's all very well for us to sometimes sort of have our opinions about zoos. I'm talking about zoos that are doing a good job. One has to think that there's a lot of people that will never ever get a chance to come to Africa. There's a lot of people that never get a chance to go to Asia or whatever, and sometimes to see those animals in a well managed captive situation that have been bred in captivity as well, not caught from the wild, and they're behaviourally enriched on a very, very high level. You will find that those can be educational facilities that actually pave the way for conservation for generations to come, to understand the importance, the absolute imperative note of why we need to conserve things on the planet. Now, if we sow that seed in a zoo and that child or that adult gets that message from a zoo, job done. That's what it's about. There's always the other side of the coin as well, like in anything. Television, acting, plumbing, bricklaying, surgery, whatever. You're always going to get good and bad in everything. So when I say zoos, I talk about good zoos around the world that are doing fantastic things, working really, really hard to conserve species on a global level and on a local level in their country. So I do think that they're really important, but I totally understand that people sometimes find it difficult to see animals in captivity. So there's two sides to the story. I don't have an exact answer, but I think that there is a place for them. Obviously, nothing beats this. So thank you very, very much. It's a brilliant question, and hopefully that's sort of given you a bit of an insight to what I think about them. But this is just brilliant. And you know what? WildSafari Live is the conduit, or is the connection for us to now be able to deliver this to you and get that same message across. So this is like virtual tourism, you're getting out and seeing exactly what we're seeing, and we deliver those messages, and I hope that what I used to do back in a zoo is coming through exactly the same here. I used to do a lot of talks in zoos, particularly on giraffe and elephant and rhino and all different things, and I used to just make sure that the message that people took away was not a preachy message, but just to understand the importance of every different species and how they fit into the ecosystem and the habitat. We need to rely on everything. One thing I have to say, folks, that we need to never forget is all this green stuff around us. All this green stuff around us is probably more important or as important as everything else. And then go deeper than that. What's under our feet? My goodness. That's where it all starts. That soil type, that soil that is generating all this beautiful vegetation that everything else is fitting into is nearly more important than everything. So erosion and all those certain controls and the management is very, very important stuff. We're just going across the dam wall again. Just getting a few things off Andrew here. Thank you, mate. So Andrew, we've had a pretty nice morning, buddy.
Wow.
Hey? I mean, we've seen, a couple of Nyala females and perverts and some nice, saddlebill stork. And, but wow. 3 lovely cats.
Perfect start.
Perfect start, mate. just going to head up towards quarantine. Just want to see if there's any tracks across that road. Any tracks across that road where I saw that leopard go across this morning. Sorry, I'm just looking very, very carefully. It's probably going to be in the shade. Whoever it was, she is going to be in the shade somewhere. And I will just go off-road a little bit where I saw her. But I have to do something very, very important first. I think there is an imminent arrival of Mr. Pretorius. Pieter Pretorius needs my assistance. I've got something in my vehicle that he needs, so I'm going to drive up and drop it off to Pete up at quarantine now, and Pete will come and say hi, and he's going to just go and then try and work with the team to get Jigger up and running. They're nearly there, I think. And this is where that leopard crossed this morning. Bang, across here. Been a fair few vehicles drive over here, so we'll definitely come back here. We might go around the other side just now, but I want to go and just drop this piece of equipment off to Pete. We've got to drive up past final control, so I can give Pete a mic for his radio. Also have a little just drive around quarantine. You never know. There's a lot of Impala up here. Such a beautiful temperature now, folks. I think it's probably heated up to around, I don't know, 19 degrees if I was to stop in the sun. This is where we took off from this morning, just over to my right. It's probably going to be about 19, 20 degrees now. So you might see an electric fence here. This electric fence, excuse me please, swallow to fly. This electric fence protects our final control centre from elephants coming through and any large predators. So you might see a little bit of this now. Pete's going to walk out and come and say hi and grab this off us. Here he is. So this fence is protecting us. Hello, buddy. Hello, mate. Oh, sorry, mate.
All right, now you're driving.
Hello, mate. Okay. Good, everyone's dying to see you, mate. So.
Hello, everyone, and good morning here from South Africa, from Djuma, and good afternoon or evening, wherever you might be. Yeah, just amazing to be back. Really excited to be back, and there's no concern with Jigger. It's just the final tweaks where you're going to get.
Oh yeah, I can't actually turn around the other way.
Oh,
that's all right. That's all right. That's fine, man.
Guys, yeah, I just wanted to come say hello, and the Jigger is actually just there. We're on the brink of taking out, but thought rather than try and rush it, we'll take out this afternoon properly.
Yeah.
I've been just as excited as you, Hayden.
And I can't believe it, buddy.
And to see leopard this morning straight off the bat, then lion.
Gosh.
We had lions roaring last night for a while around the campfire, which was amazing. And just a pleasure to say hello again. Great to feel a little bit nervous again.
Yeah.
That was about 5 times. I saw you this morning as well, you know.
I was really nervous.
It's cool, calm and collected, but it's lovely, really lovely to be back. And great team arriving here, feeling part of a team, some new people that are fantastic. Nikki and Tara in control at the moment. Will, Alex, obviously the whole team. It's been lovely to get back right into sort of a family vibe. So
it does feel like that, doesn't
thanks,
it?
guys, on the ground here, and thanks obviously for all of you around the world that makes the extended family sort of happen here, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, fantastic. Now, I think I need to give you a bit of equipment.
Yes, I'm going to grab this.
Is there anything else you need?
Test.
There's
a bit of a plug it in probably.
Yeah, an air gap there, which is a bit of a problem.
Did you see that leopard again? So I watched part of the morning drive and then I went back to the jigger.
No, I didn't. So I'm going to go back. Who knows, mate? But we moved on because I could hear loads of stuff going on the radio, and I knew Brent was like hot on the trail, the bloodhound. I'm going to call him from now on, and he was great. And then it was just fantastic. And I was just saying to everyone here to turn up to the location, and Texan and Aubrey and Andrew brought us in, made space for us.
Oh, cool.
It does feel like part of a big family, mate. It's great.
No, it's great to be back, and also it's the Southern Sands. So there's big things walking around everywhere. So
welcome back to you, big guy.
Yeah,
it's gosh.
No, nice seeing. I mean, we've caught up already, but nice to be back in the bush with you, H2. We're gonna have
mate,
fun.
we are gonna have fun.
And we go in. Yeah.
Okay, mate.
I'm going to not struggle over my words so much next time. So we're going to have an awesome afternoon. I'll see you in a bit. Enjoy. Cheers,
okay,
guys.
Jokes. Cheers, mate. No worries, matey. Call me if you need anything else, eh? Okay. So that was good to see a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes. And you know what, that's what it's all about. We try and share as much as we possibly can with you. Anything that we come across that you don't understand in the sense of what's that tower there for, or what's that there for, please send us a question. #Safari Live. You can tweet us that question, or you can send us an email at questions@wildearth.tv, and we're always happy to answer anything we possibly can. So I might just go around here through the middle of quarantine, just drive along here, and then head back down to those dams, because we might see some buffs or we might see some line drinking or something like that. Just going to turn the guide radio back up a little bit. I've just got it in the background there, but I can't quite hear anything. And at this time of the morning as well, things start to go a little bit quiet. It's definitely heating up. We all know that big predators don't enjoy the heat very well. They'll have a tendency to bunker down in the shade at this time. But you know what? I always say this. There is always exceptions to the rule. We've never ever, the textbooks say this, and all the guides you talk to, all the specialists, all the scientists, they'll tell you that they see lions hunting at this time of the day or in the heat of the day, leopards hunting in the heat of the day. There's even, of course, cheetah, which is another big cat that I'm absolutely fascinated with and spend a lot of time sort of following and working with in the parts of Namibia. They have been spotted, absolute confirmed sightings of them hunting at night in Etosha. So it always, there's just exceptions to the rule, and I always like to keep that in the back of my mind. Nothing is set in stone in the bush. Anything can happen, and you never know what's around that next corner. That's what keeps you going. It really does. Pieter Pretorius, what a great guy. What a great guy. So good to be back in the sands with Pete and the team. And I said it earlier, if you've just joined us and I've never met you before, my name's Hayden Turner, and I was working here on Wild Safari Live in November, December last year on Nat Geo's Big Cat Week, and when we were broadcasting live online for about 30 days up to Big Cat Week with Pieter and Scott as well, and Mark were really giving us some great relief, because it was pretty relentless at one point, and we just did need that one sleep in. And now the team has gotten bigger, and there's more people involved, and everything's just getting better and stronger, and the bonds are getting tighter, and it just feels fantastic. I walked in last night, I can't tell you the feeling of camaraderie and support that I felt, and also to have to say hats off to every one of you watching has sent your beautiful messages and tweets and emails and Facebook messages. I just can't thank you enough. It really does mean a lot to me. give a shout out to my little boy, my son Jack, and my wife, who are watching this morning back in the UK, and that's quite special to know that my boy's watching. And I also want to give a little bit of a reminder to any teachers out there that are watching, and if the time slot, you know, if all our planets align and the time slot works for your class, please get your class to tweet it, or send us a tweet or an email to WildSafari Live. Tell us the class name and where you are, and a question on anything. To have that connection with the kids is hugely important. And I tell you what, the excitement that I know for a fact when my son's class did it in the UK, and they were just beside themselves to know that, you know, we were talking to them live. It's just great stuff. Question from Kari in Costa Rica. Kari, welcome aboard. So lovely to have you on board. Costa Rica, wow, have I spent some time there. You live in one beautiful country, my friend. I did a documentary there. I'm going to go up this way, folks. I'm going to come back down to visit the hyenas right at the end, if that's okay. I'll just do a big loop. Kari, Costa Rica, I just spent a beautiful amount of time there. Travelled across with an amazing guide, and we made a little documentary on a fantastic young lady there that was doing great work, conservation work with squirrel monkeys. And you live in a magical country, my friend, so lovely to have you on board. And you want to know, your question is, what do elephants smell like? Well, if you can sort of combine cattle smell with the smell of horses. You know, there's a very, very sweet smell to horses. I'm not talking about their dung, I'm talking about the smell of the horse itself. It's got a beautiful sweet smell about it. And then you get a sort of a more bovine smell as well from cattle. And you combine that, and then there's this sort of mixture of, I don't know, it's nearly like a herb. I can't quite put my finger on what herb that might be, but if you can just sort of imagine quite fragrant herbs that you might walk through in your garden or something like that, and mix those all together, you will get a waft of that through the bush. And when you do get that smell, it is a really, really beautiful acknowledgement there is elephant around. The dung smells slightly different, as one would expect, but you get that beautiful sort of sweet smell of elephants. And even when I do, you know, I've travelled in India a bit, and I've done a bit of work in India with elephants, and going to see tigers, and you just walk up to that elephant and you smell that smell. It just brings back a lot of memories. I used to look after Asiatic elephants. They're very different to African elephants. A bit smaller ears, different attributes, but you know, we'll talk along elephants. I really would like to. It's a bit tricky, I know, because we haven't seen a lot of elephants, and the guides have all mentioned that the elephant numbers are quite low at the moment here. They've moved back probably into Kruger or into different areas for different vegetation. But I'd like to sort of talk about the history of elephants and take us through a bit of a journey of elephants over the next sort of 10 days as well. Even if we don't see them, we'll just talk about little stories, but going back thousands and thousands of years, BC, when elephants were first sort of written into history by how he really perceived elephants to be something magical. They've got a quality about them that they've been written about for very, very thousands and thousands of years. And you know, later on, maybe this afternoon or tomorrow, we'll talk more about it. But particularly beautiful when you're sort of sitting in front of an elephant to talk about. But here we go. There's a nice buffalo just here. A couple of really lovely boys just here. Just arrive up nice and slowly. We don't want to disturb them. Just gently get them used to the sound of the vehicle before we turn off. So 2 solitary bulls. And this is a good enough distance for us. We don't need to get any closer. We can get a nice picture from here. Both of them are sitting there, a little bit of body in the water. You've got some red-billed oxpeckers on their backs there, foraging through that hair for parasites. And they're ruminating at the moment. Now, I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know, the bovine species or the bovine group of the cattle group all over the world are ruminants, and that is a really efficient digestive system. It's a word to explain their digestive system, and basically it's a several chambered stomach that they have. They have the ability to regurgitate their partially digested food and chew it over again. Hugely efficient digestive system, and that's what he's doing now. He's regurgitated a lump of rumen up into his mouth and is chewing it over again. So these animals have the ability to break down cellulose, which is plant material. Plant material very, very difficult for us to break down with our gut flora or bacteria that we have in our gut. But these guys do it beautifully, and very, very successful. Probably the most successful group, the ruminants of royal antelope ruminants as well. So they're just chewing their cud. You might have heard that term before. You might have even driven past a bunch of cows in a field near your home or in the countryside or wherever you live in the world, and see those cows doing the same thing. Well, these buffalo are doing exactly the same thing. A couple of solitary bulls that have been either separated from the herd or past their use-by date, I suppose is a terrible term to say, but when I say use-by date, they might have been challenged by another bull and pushed out, and haven't got the ability or the tolerance to challenge that bull again. So they'll stick together potentially. They normally hang out in groups, ones, twos or threes. Sometimes you see them on a single basis, a solitary bull, and I have to say, great opportunity for lion, but you know what? You've got to be a pretty seriously experienced hunter to take down one of these guys. And they are ferocious when it comes to protecting themselves. I do love buffalo. I think anyone that knows me knows I bang on about buffalo a fair bit. I do love being in their presence. I do find them incredibly social and really, really nice to be around, particularly when you're in a big herd. So always feel free to send us any questions you've got. That's a really important thing. That's what makes this beautiful project, Safari Live, so important, that we can interact with you live. And you can send us tweets to #SafariLive, or you can send us questions, emails that is, to questions@wildearth.tv. If you notice, I'm just looking in the screen here, and there's loads and loads of flies, little biting flies buzzing around their heads, but they've got a greater tolerance all over their back there as well. His back, sorry. Just move along, Andrew, just along the body there a little bit. You'll see those swarms of flies. The birds sometimes disturb them, and that's got to be pretty annoying. Just while we're sitting here, folks, I'm just going to give Brent a call and see if he's got any updates. Brent, do you copy? Brent, do you copy? Brent, do you copy? Okay, I don't seem to be getting much from him, folks, so we might move on and see what's happening down at Twin Dams, but those guys are really enjoying that little lay there. Really important that we stay a respectable distance from the animals and make sure we don't disturb what they're doing naturally. They've gone there for a reason. They've gone there to get cool and to stay in a location that they can be comfortable in, and we'll just move on and let them be. Lovely question from David in Michigan. Bless you, David. Fantastic, mate, to think that I could do with one of those Australian hats to keep the flies away. Well, I don't really know anyone that wears those these days. They used to be used by, and if anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about there, David's referring to a hat that used to have corks hanging from it around a hat on strings to potentially keep the flies away. It used to be used in the old days. They don't get used very often anymore, but I'm actually not having such a bad day with the flies, I have to say. I touch wood. I've got them all over me, but I'm tolerating them. I think my Australian fly tolerance has kicked in. I say that now, David, but I probably will be swinging and doing the fly wave later on. Beautiful weaver nests up there, which I'm sure Scott has showed you. I just want to try and head down to Twin Dams just while we're looking at the time. I've got about just over 25 minutes to go, so let's just do that. If that's okay with everyone, I just want to just head on down, have a quick look, and then we'll make our way back towards final control. It's been a beautiful morning for me, everyone. I really appreciate your understanding and your support, as I said, back in the saddle. This is going to be a good week. This is going to be a good week. I can feel it in my bones. Lovely little herd of impala just up here. Just moving off into the vegetation there. Just through there. They're only quite hard to see from here. A couple of young, it's a little solitary, a little group of bachelors. Youngsters just there. I think you can get a little shot. Andrew, they're just moving through the vegetation. There's a couple of adult rams in there as well. Really nice. I'm just going to move on. There's some lovely nyala down here ahead of us, all crossing the road as well. Gosh, there's a lot of them. That's alright, mate. Let's go. Just going to give Brent another call, see if I can locate him. Look at these girls. So pretty. And you'll find, folks, I often stop at these beautiful antelope just because they are so beautiful. They're so pretty. And that's a really, really nice little herd of them. All hanging out in this little drainage line in the cool. You can see the flies are bothering them hugely as well. Gorgeous. You see that lovely little stripe down the side that breaks up the body shape in that dapple light. Everyone different as well, just like the stripes on the kudu as well. Just a very different fingerprint on every animal. Look at you. Beautiful big ears to be very, very aware in their surroundings. Being an animal that spends a lot of time in that undergrowth, they need to have those fantastic hearing ability. Listening for predators. Okay, we might just move on. I've got a question from Siberia Zumi. Thank you very much. Great to have you on board. Your wonderful work that you do for us as well. And asking whether the smaller antelope, Duiker, Steenbok, whether they are ruminants as well. And the answer is yes, absolutely they are. Really, really effective, efficient group of animals. More little Nyala down there, but really, really successful group of animals, and I just find them fascinating, the ability that they have to survive in very, very difficult times and getting the most out of the vegetation. The giraffes are incredible to watch ruminating as well. That big lump of rumen, you can imagine it has to come from their stomach down in their body, down in their torso, and then up their neck. And you see a big lump going right up their neck, and then bang into their cheek pocket, sort of there, and they start to chew that over again. All right, I'm looking at the watch now, so I just want to make sure we just keep an eye on the time. Getting used to. I do apologise. I made a bit of a mistake before. We used to start at 6 o'clock, and now we start at 6:30 because of the darkness in the morning. Let's give Brent another try. Brent, your copy. So we're just going to dawdle down here to Twin Downs and have a look there. It's always good to check out the water points at this time of the day. You might get the odd animal drinking. You might get a big cat that's come down to drink just before it tries to find some shade. And we might just see some birds, which is always fantastic as well. Temperature's rising a little bit, probably up around early 20s now. Up this tree, folks, just to always have a look to see if any leopards have put a kill up in a tree or stored a kill. These beautiful jackalberries are fantastic trees for it, very comfortable, nice, beautiful, big, long limbs. But there might have been word, I think I heard the guys talking, there was a potential that Karula may have a kill stashed somewhere around here. So always keep our eyes out there. Just got a question from Dara in Ohio. Fantastic to have you on board, Dara. And the question is, have I ever made a documentary about US wildlife? Well, the answer to that is yes. One strange one, but really interesting one at the same time. I did a series called Wildlife Challenge years ago, and I had to go and try and find different species of spectacles around the world. For example, migrations of animals, or I did a black bear documentary up in Minnesota. That was fantastic. I also did a great story. It was only a half an hour documentary on horseshoe crabs in Delaware, believe it or not, and this mass emergence of horseshoe crabs that come out on a full moon to mate, and I just couldn't believe it. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life. Whole beach covered in horseshoe crabs, so that was pretty incredible. And then right up on the border, the Canadian border, I was in there's a lovely buffalo bull over there just walking across as well, but I'm sorry I've stopped a little bit shy that for you, Andrew, but just walking to get some shade as well. It's getting very warm here, folks. He's just meandering there at a very, very slow pace. Might find some shade there. I did up in Manitoba, which obviously is in on the border there, a story in North America, that is, of in Canada, of garter snakes, red-sided garter snakes emerging from limestone coals in Canada. So I've spent a fair bit of time in North America. I'd love to spend more. I would love to spend more. It's an incredible part of the world. We've got different species of antelope dotted through here. I'm not going to stop at every one just because I've seen loads of impala, but I just want to give you a bit of a brief as we're driving past. They're all finding a little bit of shade at the moment, so it is getting warmer. Question also from Riley. Hi Riley, and nice to have you on board. Fantastic stuff, and a good question about what's my favourite North American animal. I'd have to say puma, mountain lion, wherever you are, I suppose. I've got a couple actually, Riley. I'd also have to say wolf, which I've never seen in the wild, which I'd love to see. And I'm absolutely fascinated with bears, but I have a healthy respect for bears as well. When I made that documentary about black bears, I came in contact with some black bears very, very close. So we had a bit of contact, not in a bad way, but I learnt that very, very important species to be very aware of their capabilities. And so I've got those three species, and then just loads of different, there's so much there. There's so many beautiful, beautiful animals and beautiful raptors as well in North America I'd love to see. And the list goes on, Riley. But yeah, there's probably, to see a wolf in the wild, I've always wanted to go to Yosemite as well, so I've never done that before, which is something I'd love to do. Right, we're going to move a little bit faster along this road, and I just want to try and see if we can get to the hyena den, just to see. This is a hyena den that was quite active when I was here last, and then they moved down to a den just below Treehouse Dam area, really. and then they seem to have moved back to this den. So the guys have told me where it is. It's a great den. It's got great access, very easy to get to for us, which is great. It means that we don't have to disturb the animals. We can drive up very, very slowly and just see if they're asleep. They might be in the den. There's supposed to be 2 pups, I think. 2 cubs and an adult female, I think. I'm not really sure of how many animals are there, so we'll definitely have a look and see what we can come up with. Thanks for all your questions, everyone. It's been fantastic, and I really appreciate it. A little bit nervous this morning that I was going to get it all right, say all the right things to you and welcome and everything. I've been doing this for 20 years, but it doesn't mean that you don't still get a little bit nervous. You never want to get complacent about what a privilege it is to be doing this. And hopefully we've gotten to know each other a little bit this morning, and if it's my first time, I was just about to put my indicator on there. It's good to be back. If I've just gotten to know you this morning for the first time, I really hope that you come back and join us. And after you've watched Safari Live, head off online and see if you can look up a little bit of that information I was talking about, Aristotle and elephants. It's quite interesting to hear about those early accounts and early writings about elephants back in sort of 2,000-3,000 BC. Obviously some very, very some not very pleasant things back in those days, but as time goes on, we now have a situation where elephants are, and it started back then, elephants are revered as one of the most magnificent creatures on the planet, one of the animals that we have the biggest connection with, and I'll talk a little bit more about that another time. But have a little look on that online. It's a nice bit of research for you to do yourselves. And then for everyone that I do know and that I've been with before, and just so good to be back with you and have Pete to come up and say hi. Jigger will be, I'm sure, back on the road as soon as the guys possibly can. I know there's about 5 brains the size of Texas working on it at the moment, and including Pieter Pretorius, I might add. Pete knows that vehicle like, you know, his own son, his own child, and combined with Peter and Peter Brat and Alex and Eugene and everyone there, I'm sure they're going to have Jigger up and happening as soon as possible. Little troop of vervets just running up trees here, but I just want to get to this hyena den if that's okay, folks, so we will stop and have a little talk about vervets another time. Around this corner. Just a good question from Sandy in Missouri about, hi Sandy and welcome aboard, it's great to have you. Question about what sort of snakes we get here. There's so many different species of snakes we get here, but just to name a few that are probably the more well-known ones, obviously black mamba is an animal, a species that, you know, a lot of people talk about of having this fearsome reputation. They definitely do. They're an animal that really needs, as all snakes do, to have great respect shown to them. Majority of the time you'll find a snake wants to get away from you rather than have a conflict. You know, I suppose it comes down to a little bit like the black mamba. If we were talking on a scale of tolerance and understanding, black mamba's probably not your animal. They have a tendency to be a little bit short-tempered and can show their displeasure at the drop of a hat. But then we get puff adders, which are an animal that uses a very, very different technique. That animal will be using camouflage. A lot of people are bitten by puff adders because camouflage is their defense mechanism, so you will get a lot of people living in communal areas or in the local areas that will tread on them. You've got different species of cobra. You've got different tree-dwelling snakes as well, vine snakes, boomslang, and the list goes on. But there's loads and loads of different. If you're into looking at getting apps for your tablet or your device, there's lots of great. It's a really interesting thing to look up. Now, I haven't got a lot of action here at this den site, but I'm just gonna. I might just reverse back up, Andrew, if that's okay. Just sit and just see. Sometimes when the vehicle pulls up, you get one of the pups will pull his head out. Just moving back around. Oh, sorry, a little bit off the road there. I'm just going to have to reposition this. One of the things I do have to say that you can never get complacent about snakes. And one night we were all walking back from supper, and it was a beautiful warm evening, and the famous Will Fox, director extraordinaire and operations director and everything else that Will is with the WildEarth and Wild Safari Live. We were just walking back up, and it was like in a really populated area of the camp, and lots of different little huts everywhere that we were staying in, and there was a spitting cobra just just moving across the grass, and Will nearly trod on it, and I still to this day tell him that I've saved his life. But he'll repay me one day at some point, I'm sure, with something fantastic. I hope he's listening. But you can just drop your guard sometimes. We were just talking away, and bang, he nearly trod on it. So you do have to be very, very careful. You can't let it overwhelm your time being here, though, because you've got probably more chance of having an accident on a road than you have getting bitten by a snake out here. So that's just something that we need to keep in the back of our minds. So,
they normally use the other hole on that side.
Yeah, okay, mate. Andrew's just telling me they're using the other hole on the other side, so I'll move around again, and we'll just see what we've got. It's a bit tricky, and I don't want to just keep driving around in the dark, in the heat. So right around a bit further, mate, or is it that hole there?
Yeah, either this hole or the one next to it.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Sometimes you get a little peek. I might just drive in there, eh?
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tricky one because it is hot and you don't know where they might be, but if we drive up here, we might get a little view of one of the youngsters popping his head out. Now you see how I'm driving quite close to the den here. And please don't be concerned about that, because these hyena are so habituated to us. I've had some of these youngsters up so close to the vehicle. They've come right up to the side of the vehicle, sniffing to the point where I thought they were going to jump in the vehicle at one point. But they never would. It's just more of an inquisitive nature that they have, and it's something that we always take into consideration, that the distance that we have away from the animals. So, I'm just going to sit here for a little bit. You just don't know what could be around the next corner in that den. But you can see that it's been hollowed out and been dug out a little bit more to fit the hyenas in. Now this is an old aardvark den. Most people have either seen a picture of an aardvark or potentially seen one in the wild. I don't know if you've been on safari and you might have seen one. I could actually I could count on just on two hands how many times I've seen aardvark in 20 years of coming to, or 25 years of coming to Africa. They're rather elusive. Fantastic food for leopards. Leopards love them. They're a lot bigger than you think, and they will use these dens, make a den or aardvark home there, and then after that they depart or move on. You'll start to get other animals that'll move in. I've seen everything from aardvark to hyena, wild dog, leopard, using one as a den in Zimbabwe when I was there. And it's just incredible. Lots of different warthog will also use them as a place to escape, and they'll have an intricate network. They'll know all the ways to go down there. So, I mean, I've obviously got my eyes on it as I'm talking to you, but we're getting sort of close to time now, so I think it's probably nice just to sit here rather than driving around and just have a little bit of a chat and a bit of a wind down of the morning, a bit of a recap. So we started off this morning just sitting there waiting for you as we watch the mist rising and the sun coming up over the horizon here in Djuma and in Sabi Sands. And for me it was quite a special moment. We'd just seen Karula fly across a road and into the vegetation chasing a nyala, and that to me was a fantastic start to the day. And then we drove along the dam wall and we saw that beautiful line, that Matimba Male, that a couple of you helped me identify potentially a Matimba Male, and then with the help of wonderful Brent and all the other guides from other properties around brought us into CQ, which has just made my day, absolutely made my day. So I can't thank you enough for experiencing that with me. It's just magic. It's just magic stuff. Look at it. Just a question from Lisa it's a really good question, Lisa, and I don't know if I can answer it in a way that means anything other than a personal love, but why is Q my favourite cat? He's the first cat that I saw here, and he's the first cat I saw with a cameraman named Viam, who first cat I saw with a cameraman named Viam, who we both saw together, and today for that to happen to Andrew and I, be my first cat as well, again with us, as our sort of bond as camera person and presenter works, it's been quite special. There's something about him, I like his attitude as well. He doesn't care. He just walked right past my vehicle one day, so close to me that I could have touched him. Of course I wouldn't, but he was that close. He was in touching distance, and that's what makes him so special. He's got beautiful markings as well, so really special markings down his spine and stuff like that. But just to round up, folks, I just want to say thank you to all of you for having me back, and I want to thank everyone that's helped on this morning, Nikki and Tara in directing this morning, and Will, and everyone in Final Control, and Graham and Emily that are down here as well with their beautiful kids, and we've got the whole team, all the presenters, Scott and Mark and Brent and everyone that's been here, and Stefan, wow, what a guy. And now Pete Pretorius is there getting the jigger ready to go. So it all feels good. It feels fantastic to be back. Remember, if you've got questions for us, it's #SafariLive if you want to tweet, and questions@wildearth.tv if you want to ask them during the broadcast. But come back this afternoon. It'd be really great to have you on board. As I said, if I've just met you for the first time, can't wait to have you back. If you're a regular Wild Safari Live participant, you guys are always welcome. Everyone can get on board this, and please share with as many people as you can, and I can't wait to be back with you. It's just brilliant to be back here. And Andrew, thanks so much, buddy. It's been fantastic, mate, to have you on board this morning, and all the wonderful people that's brought this together. It's good to be back, guys. It's just fantastic. And I tell you what, you never know what's around the next corner. See you soon, guys.